Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, and if you're a fan of our interviews, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on iTunes or Spotify to hear full-length versions alongside our reviews of Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week on WrestleCulture, complete with a bloody good quiz. For now though, here's a clip of my chat with Josiah Williams, the man behind the brilliant Wrestle and Flow on YouTube. The full version is available as a podcast, link is in the description, discussing which wrestler's theme he might remix next, releasing an album with WWE, and his dream collaborations. Enjoy. What was the catalyst for all this? What was the thing that made you think, I'm going to take wrestler themes, remix them, and rap over them to such an amazing extent?
Yeah, man. I've been a musician for the past, 8 years or so. Released a few albums, done all that. And a lot of people take the YouTube approach and try to do something different when they're not releasing music. People do covers and remixes, and I thought, I could go that route and do something that a lot of people already do, or try to find something that's completely different than what most people are doing. I know that there are hip hop artists that incorporate wrestling into their music, but this was direct. This was something that I didn't really feel like anybody else was doing, and I just found that avenue and went with it, man, and I love it.
No, it's amazing. It is, like you say, it's so catchy and it works on so many different levels. How do you decide who to sample next? Because obviously you started off with the Undisputed Era. We've had Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor. Obviously the most recent one I saw was to do with the women involved in Evolution. So how do you decide what's next?
Yeah, I think it started out as just songs that I like, characters that I like, wrestlers and superstars that I think I wanted to showcase and highlight. And then there are situations where, I feel like there's a certain story that I want to tell. So starting out with Undisputed Era, the Gorillas of Destiny, like those were intentional. I wanted to just remix those songs because I liked them. Coming around to like Becky Lynch, that was a very specific situation. She turns heel and I'm like, oh man, I love every single second of this. So just finding like a fun story to tell, or like Evolution, obviously, doing something special that showcases them. So I think it's kind of a mix of songs that I like, songs that are able to be remixed, and then just stories that I want to tell.
So people are asking when I said I was going to be chatting to you about, or even requesting songs to do next. And I know some people have said, are you going to possibly delve back and do some of our sort of favourite stars from yesteryear, maybe like Attitude Era stars? Is that something you might be doing in the future?
Oh, yeah. And I think there are a couple of things with that. I want to make it special. I want to make it right. I know that for certain stars, it would take a little bit more research for me, just because I started out kind of post Attitude Era. Like I grew up after that. My mom didn't really let me watch until after that. So, of course, there are a lot of people that I do know just because they're so big and we see them, every once in a while on TV. We hear about them in podcasts, etc. But then there are other superstars that I'm like, man, nobody has heard this in a while. People don't really know about this person that if I'm writing lyrics based on them, I want to get it right. So I'm taking my time with that, and I have a special kind of thing planned for the old school, I'll say. But Attitude Era songs are definitely on the way.
What are the next steps that people's on the outside are possibly thinking for you? Is the possibility of you performing live at a WWE, an NXT show or the like? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
I'm 1,000% interested in it. Like if I get that call, I'm canceling whatever I have planned. I don't care what it is. Like I'm doing it. I don't know, man. I would like to think that people are, considering those ideas, and hopefully I can be able to do that one day. But I'm not too sure. I think the good thing for me is I kind of package myself as a little bit of everything. So outside of music, I was an actor for all of my life and went to school for theater. So I understand the importance of character building, and whether it's, I could be a writer or going in and doing like the Kathy Kelly thing for WWE and being a social media commentator. I think utilizing that voice as a ring announcer. There's so much within the world of wrestling that if you have a voice and if you have an appreciation of the product, that you're able to do whatever. And I think we're seeing that even on the wrestling side, right? Like a guy like Matt Hardy, who's dealing with an injury, or Jason Jordan, they're able to cross over and say, well, I can do a little bit of this too and produce. And that's what I like about wrestling. There's so much out there that's possible. So whether it's on the music, on just like promoting the brand, whatever it is, I'm ready to do it. So all I need is the call.
One of the things I was really interested to ask you was about wrestling themes, because as I said, you've remixed and rapped over a variety of different wrestling themes, but they didn't necessarily have to be your favourite ones. They could just be ones, like you say, that I think are appropriate at the time. So
Right.
what are some of your favourite wrestling themes, and perhaps ones you haven't even used before?
Man, there's one that, okay, so I've kind of been answering this question a lot recently, and I realize there's one that I haven't talked about in a while, which is probably in my top 3 favorite. Drew McIntyre's first theme, Broken Dreams, was like, oh man, that I think that may be one of my favorites of all time for sure. Each time you heard that, it was you paid attention to the screen immediately. And I feel like it kind of, mirrors what I feel about Randy Orton too. Of just, that was a song that, like, as soon as it's on, you love it. It's incredible. And I also love that they didn't release it for like a year or so. It was like so much anticipation in releasing that theme song. So I love the story that it told. I love the build up. That's one that if I can figure out a way to remix, I'm doing that immediately. Like, I love that. I loved Edge's theme. I loved Kane's. Who was that? I think that was Finger 11 that did that song. Yeah, there's a lot of the older themes that I really, really have enjoyed. And then one new one that I still get hyped every time, the Usos, but the remix where they're like kind of rapping over it. That was the first time I heard that. Yeah.
Now, whenever I have wrestlers on for an interview, I ask them about dream matches that they'd love to be in. So for you, I'm going to ask a dream collaboration you could do in the future. Now, that could be with a wrestler perhaps appearing on a track, or it could be with a musical artist. It's up to you.
Okay. I'll do a couple answers for that. I would love to play Marty Scurll to the ring. And I would love to play Ricochet to the ring, just because I would get so hyped in those moments. And they're 2 completely different theme songs, but I feel like it would just be such a thrill to do either one of those. So, and it's a different environment too. Typically you're on a stage doing a hip hop show and everybody's in the crowd, looking at you. But in this situation, my goal is to like pump up this person going to the ring. So that would be different. I would love that. And then just in general, I mean, a lot of people think, and I'm glad that I remembered this. A lot of people think that this is like something that's brand new, that Josiah Williams has, created this thing of rapping over wrestling themes. And that's not true at all. Like, there are so many other hip hop artists that have done this before me. I just kind of, do it my own way. So some sort of collaboration with Wale, who absolutely within the hip hop community is probably the biggest wrestling fan that there is.
Oh yeah, Wale Mania every year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no way that I can't acknowledge, the people that have done this before me. So I don't even know. Maybe that's just a conversation. Maybe it's a podcast of like why he loves what he loves about wrestling, and then kind of comparing it to, my generation or whatever it is. I just want to meet him and talk to him and maybe do something one day.
That would be a fantastic collaboration, in my opinion.
I hope so. One day.
Josiah, finally, what does the future hold for Josiah Williams and for Wrestle and Flow? What do you want to try and achieve, let's say, before the end of the year and going forward into 2019?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep making different remixes. I'm going to keep challenging myself, trying songs that I love, trying ones that I haven't really gotten into that much. Some of the ones that people suggest for me, and just taking on new challenges. I feel like it's such a cool community that has grown, and that I'm able to do a little bit of something for everybody. And then I think one specific challenge is to take, a very unliked, unpopular wrestler's theme song and just turn it into something that's magical. So hopefully one day I can do that as well.
Well, one final thing I want to ask you is people were talking about potentially releasing it. Obviously, that's kind of difficult a position to have you in, what with it being WWE's themes. Is that something you're hoping to work on in the future, perhaps?
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. And I think if there is anyone from WWE that's paying attention, I mean, that would be a dream come true. Not just to like remix a song, just because, but to really work on something that is true to a superstar's character, and to release it officially under the WWE brand. So if that happens, that would be incredible. And I'm here. I'm ready.
Well, Josiah, I'm tempted to fire over the What Culture Wrestling theme for you to have a play with. So maybe we'll do that when we finish up here.
Oh, absolutely. I will do that.
Well, we look forward to that. Josiah, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. We'll hopefully do this again very soon. Josiah Williams of Wrestling Flow, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.